Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? And yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup runneth over. And surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Amen. Assalamu alaikum. It's Thursday. It's a throwback Thursday. Welcome to Johnny's Bite. I want to say thank you to all our affiliates across the country, Kesme, Radio Tamale, and all those who listen in the Volta region, Lolonyon, and all the stations whose name immediately cannot come to mind. Thank you very much indeed for picking our content and sharing it with the rest of the wonderful world. For those who also connect with us through the power of the internet, at 3FM 927, our Facebook page, and at TV3 Ghana, thank you very much indeed. The hashtag is Johnny's Bite. Hashtag Johnny's Bite. And Johnnie Hughes has been trending on X for about 3 days now. I don't know why. I have not really bothered to find out why. But I've been told that it's for good reason. I don't know. And I'm not sure I want to go and be digging and finding out. What we continue to do is to do objective, credible, and critical journalism, to ask the questions, to put out the data, to put out the information and the documents, and to demand the answers as they are. If, as they say in Chi, somebody obikoko paya, that one is a back case, because we are asking the questions as is our duty so to ask. Now, take me to Aburi Girls. A parent sent me this distress message from Aburi Girls, and is in conjunction with free SHS. You know, the conversations about, and you hear it on the streets oftentimes. And I've told people that, look, I have wards in Squab. Since free SHS began, I've always made it a duty to have one or two people in school that will be beneficiaries of my small resources that I have. And I can tell you on good authority that you spend more money, not money trying to get them to be posted from one school to the other, but you spend more money in terms of transportation, you spend more money in terms of buying the stuff on the prospectus, you spend more money. So I struggle to get where the disingenuous claim is made. And usually you hear the market to me, and no one say, but those of us who are on the pages, we know that things are demanded of us. There's an Aburi Girls screenshot. Please put it up there for me. Those who are on the pages, we know that the teachers, they come to us. They ask us for support to buy food. They ask us for support to do all manner of things. So yes, I'm saying that it is free, but there's a certain cost element that parents bear. And so that impression out there that, everything is free, I think we need to have a second look at it and be honest with ourselves and stop the perfidy. That honesty must come. And I'll demonstrate to you in a bit why I'm saying this. On their WhatsApp page, the bill for Form 1s are yet to come. But Form 2s and Form 3s have something that they have to pay, right? A certain amount. I'll also take you back to 1963 again by popular request. And you see, there's been also the conversation, and you hear government communicators put it out there. I thought that the government not so long ago launched a misinformation and disinformation campaign. We spent money on it. We said that we were going to, and in fact, people have been picked up for misinformation and disinformation. Then somebody drew my attention to one of the adverts that the government in power is using to seek re-election, about Dr. Tony Edu saying that, vote for Dr. Baumia. And I ask myself, why would the government be engaged in misinformation and disinformation when we have spent money to say we are launching a campaign against misinformation and disinformation? And the whole impression is created that journalists in this country are masters of misinformation and disinformation. Because if you have listened to the full interview, where Dr. Tony Edu is daring, you will know that the advert that is being played is clearly doctored. And once it is doctored, a doctored tape, as we heard on the Kokonsa IGP probe, police probe tape, etc., we heard doctored tape. It's not my voice. Right? When you hear those things, it doesn't matter if it's a commercial we're playing or not. It's a conversation. Misinformation and disinformation must end. It doesn't matter whose axe is God. Misinformation and disinformation must end because that is the profession. So when the government launches misinformation and disinformation, spends our taxpayers' monies, organizes press conferences, organizes seminars, and creates the impression that journalists are the ones who are misinforming and disinforming the public. And then they go ahead to have adverts just to seek re-election and misinform and disinform the public. You must then ask yourself a question whether you must take the government serious or not. You must ask that question. It's a very simple question to ask. If their opponents are doing it, ask them the same questions. If they themselves are not leading by examples, ask them the question. Now, take me back to 1963. The impression has been created so far by the proponents of the government and government communicators. Put a newspaper cutting up there. That secondary education, free education of any sort, was first introduced by this government. And my job as a journalist, right? My job as a journalist is to first of all say that this cannot be correct. Because our job is to inform, is to educate, is to entertain, and as KKD says, to elevate. Here is 13th of January 1963 Ghanaian Times press cutting. It says secondary education is free. This was said in Parliament at the time. And this free education, secondary education was highlighted. But if you read the story, it talks about primary, secondary, middle school, all the way to the university. In fact, around this time, and I've spoken to some people who are gone past the age of 80, almost 90, some 70, and they say around the time, they used to, those of them at the universities, they used to get allowances in their pockets. Medical students used to get what they called 50 millions. And then other students used to get 33 millions. That's what they called it then. And this whole free education thing was at a time when our president of the day was in school. And he got some of the allowances and got some of the free education and got free accommodation. They were not paying for hostel fees. They got free accommodation. They had access to electric stove. They had access to free food, breakfast, lunch, supper with snacks. They had access to 3-course dinner every Wednesday. Children who were in the primary schools had access to free bus rides. So when the impression now is being created as if what we have now, and I've said it's a good policy. If you go back to the 70s, Nkrumah was not in power in the 70s, but if you go back to the 70s and 80s, some have also said that there was some free education and they had allowances, and the allowances came on time. Auntie Adole told me that. So when the impression is created that the current free education that we have is the first and the foremost and the novel free thing in terms of education that we have had in the country, it is my job as a journalist to tell you that I have looked through the details, I've looked through the history, and the history says that what you are saying is wrong. You are misinforming and disinforming the public. Stop it. And then you decide that, he's not credible, we cannot work with him, blah, blah, blah. That's none of my spiritual business. The people have to be told what is the truth. The people have to be given what are the facts. The people have to be given the details. The details are that what we have now is good. And somebody says, but free education did not start then. It started now. Did you enjoy free education? I didn't enjoy free education because somebody didn't think that we needed it at the time. I went to school during the Kufuor and the Rawlings era. Somebody thought that, well, that's fine. It's okay. Right? Somebody thought that way. I went in the latter part of the Rawlings era getting into it. So I went to school around that time. That's fine. Somebody thought that way. Somebody too is thinking, let's bring back the free education. That's good. But let's not create the impression that this is the first time ever that Ghana is having anything called free education. It is a false claim. It is wrong. And we must not support falsehood, because the children watch TV. The children listen to radio. The children watch the adverts. The children are learning. And most of the Gen Zs, apologies to them, would not go through the stress I went through to go and look for this document. And this document, if I had not introduced it onto the internet, would not have been on the internet. Would they have gone to the public archives to go and look for it? They wouldn't have gone there to look for it. They wouldn't have spent time to go looking for it. How many Gen Zs will waste their time, so to speak, to go and look for it? They wouldn't spend their time to go and look for it. So why would anybody then deliberately create the impression that, say, free education and we any kani ayedeba? And yet kani, 1963, maybe we ordered that. 1963, so what are we talking about? Take me to Aburi Girls, please. Let's go to Aburi Girls, please. Let's see the bill from Aburi Girls. And a parent sent it to me. So I shared it. Now, there is a portion of a Facebook post, right? A Facebook post by Mr. Gabi Asare Chudako asking a question. Please put it up for me. A Facebook post by Mr. Gabi Asare Chudako asking a question. Please put that up for me. A Facebook post. And he's asking us about, and he's tasking journalists. Then in 2014, he was tasking journalists to go and ask about the price of a bag of cement. So this was 8 July 2014, and we're doing throwback. He says, last month, I bought cement in Ghana for 25 Ghana cedis per bag. This month, it is selling at 35 Ghana cedis. Can our journalists find out why? Last month, which was in June 2014, I bought cement in Ghana for 25 Ghana cedis per bag. This month, it is selling at 35 Ghana cedis. Can our journalists find out why? This was him. And under it, you find Mr. Yofi Grant and many others. Yofi Grant of the GIPC now, and many others who were excited about what had been posted. They were laughing. Now, I found out, as has been instructed by my senior, I found out that the cost of production for cement is the reason cement prices have jumped from 25 Ghana cedis per bag to 35 Ghana cedis per bag. In fact, now it is over 100 Ghana cedis per bag. I found out that the exchange rate, the cedi to dollar relationship, where you're buying the dollar for almost 17 cedis, is the problem. I found out that most of the ingredients or the materials that they use to produce the cement is not sourced from here. And once they import, they get to the port, they have to pay high port charges and taxes. And that's why the prices have gone up. I found out that the cost of electricity, the cost of water is the reason cement prices have gone out. I found out that the cost of transportation, because they produce it at Tema, and they have to take it to my beloved Bogu in near Tamale, right, where I am a sub-chief. The transportation cost, which includes wear and tear of the truck, which includes fuel, which includes all of those things, will cost. And we know how much fuel costs. So all these things contribute to how much a bag of cement now is selling. Now, in 2014, it was selling at 25 Ghana cedis, and then in the space of a 1 month, moved to 35 Ghana cedis. That's not so cool. What is the price of cement as we speak now? What is the price of cement as we speak now? Can anybody now boldly come out and put out a Facebook post and ask the same question? What is the price of cement now as we speak? And I remember the last time that cement manufacturers and the builders wanted to have a conversation. In fact, the cement manufacturers went in there. Mr. K.T. Hammond, who's the Minister for Trade and Industry, he sacked the industry people and he said the traders should be in the room because he had previously met them. He sacked them. I recorded the video and showed the video here. And then he went to Parliament to make a law to price control So you are not helping me by reducing taxes. You are not helping me by making sure that the exchange rate is good. You are not helping me by reducing water tariffs. You are not helping me by reducing electricity tariffs. You are not helping me by creating a enabling environment. Then you actually go to Parliament in spite of all my challenges, and you say they should actually put a cap on how much I should sell because you want to look good in the eyes of the people of Ghana. What do you think you are doing to my business? Beyond giving me a haircut that I didn't ask for. What do you think you are doing to my business? So, Mr. Gabi Ochidako, I found out, and these are the answers that I found out, how and why cement prices have gone up. So please, can you tell your uncle to do something small about it? Please tell your uncle to do something now that you know, because you didn't know then. Now that you know the answers, can you tell your uncle to do something small about it? Chairman, take me back to Aburi Girls. A parent shared this with me, and I'll share it with you. And I'm not sure it is just related to Aburi Girls. Apologies to Aburi Girls, because I know that there are a lot of calls will go to the headmaster and headmistress. Headmistress this morning, hey, why did you? It's not the headmistress. This is the general secretary of the PA who signed this one. Now it says, below are the approved amount of contributions for 2025 academic year. Details. Form 2. Food support, 400 Ghana cedis for 2 semesters. PA dues, 400 Ghana cedis for 2 semesters. Right? And OE, 250 Ghana cedis. Form 3, PA dues for both semesters, 400 Ghana cedis. Right? And then food support, 400 Ghana cedis. And then OE, 400 Ghana cedis. Details of the Form 1 dues will be communicated in due course. Thank you. So the Form 1 dues are yet to be decided, but the food support remains the same throughout the period. Now, you ask yourself the question, from whence cometh the impression then that everything is free and you don't pay a dime? We have not finished talking about the children being fed expired rice. And we have not even finished exploring what other things they could have been fed, which is also expired. Flour, sugar. We have not finished talking about that. Because we're only fortunate to have seen that rice was rebagged and renamed. If the thing is good, why do you rebag it and rename it? Change it from its original name? It's a question. The place where the rice was rebagged, was it licensed for rebagging to happen there? So what if some infection had happened? And these are going to be fed to children who we expect to grow to become patriotic. It is there. This is it. I had to cover the numbers because I know how we are in this country. We will target the people, we'll call them and deal with them. That's all we have. Now, we have received some new trains in the country. Beautiful, white, nice train. Some are calling it a tram because it's not that big. We have a nice, beautiful train. And we want to applaud the government for it. You remember the last time we had one, an accident, we're still waiting. What happened to the insurance? Do we know? Because usually when they tell you that we're investigating something, you wait for the investigation, it doesn't come. And you remember that the yellow truck with the police emblem carrying something that looked like a Galamsey equipment around the Obuasi area, Katie Amon's area. The police said they are investigating. Have you heard anything? I don't know, because Dampari has blocked all avenues for us to be able to call the police. They now speak to us through press releases and tweets and Facebook posts. So now you don't know which PRO to call. But this morning, PROs will dress up, they will go to work, and you ask, what are they going to do? But when the month ends, they will take their salaries. So we have centralized all the communication, and we have introduced our own form of censorship under IGP Dampari. And we are trying to make sure that the police tell us what they want us to hear, not what we can prove to know. That is the situation. That's the simplest way I can. And that happens usually in dictatorships. But we are in a democracy. And everybody is watching for our IGP to do that because he wants to promote his police TV. Now you want to ask yourself a question, which portion of the act, the police act, gives him the authority to set up a TV station and a radio station? When you have plurality of media, In fact, here at Media General, we are the only ones on record to have given the Ghana Police Service a full hour for many years. You and the police. Remember, Bridget Otu, you and the police. We are the only ones on record to have done that. So we have a good relationship with the police. How we have been suddenly shut out, it baffles my mind. But I digress. This is what we have, right? And we are all supposed to applaud this with the electric buses, etc. There's a one that we had before, the Ghana, the one with we have locked it up. It's in the bush somewhere. This thing as it is now, it's not sportable. We have grounded it since 2017. These trains that you see, they are not sportable. The trains you see, these ones, the ones that Professor Mills brought, that John Mahama brought some, they are not sportable. You can see, they are nice. We have grounded them since 2017. We are not using them, but we are importing new ones, pretty much like what we have done to Ayalolo buses. We have grounded them. We are bringing in electric buses. So I ask myself, if we add the new one to this one and we run all of it, what would happen? Would we die as a country? Because we travel. This one is actually very, very long. It's longer than what we brought in. But we have grounded this since 2017. And the argument is that they don't have fuel. And I ask myself, how much is fuel? Whatever we used to buy the new one, couldn't we have used it to buy fuel for this one? Couldn't we have used it? Look, we spent $2 million of our money saying that we were going to get SkyTrain. We didn't bring the SkyTrain. We chopped the money free. We no bore. Then now the one that is already in operation, we ground it. And then we leave it there. And then we go and buy another one, come and do ceremony for it. Then we ground Ayalolo buses. Then we go and buy electric buses and we bring it and we do ceremony for it. Then we ground something else. Then we go and bring something else. So what is wrong with that? Is it principalities and powers that are worrying us or what? What is our own problem? Look, the president promised us that we'll run a train line from Paga to Takrady or Takrady to Paga. In fact, he repeated that promise in 2021. There's a press cut there. He repeated that in 2021. He said we're going to run from Takrady to Paga. We're going to have a real line from Takrady to Paga, when he was telling us about moving away from the gorgeous Bekan economy. From Takrady to Paga. He told us that. We don't have that Takrady to Paga line. And the train that we have, which we could have used, we have left it. And then we have brought another one. I'm saying that if we had added what we had brought in to this one, would it change our name as Ghana? Why do we waste the taxpayers' money like that and expect that the taxpayers should just shut up and keep quiet? Why? Why do we do this to ourselves? Why? No, I want somebody to explain to me. Why do we do it? John Peter Mewu, can you explain this to us? Mr. Jogate, you were Minister of Railway before John Peter Mewu. Can you explain to us? Can anybody explain why this train is not on the rail and it's not moving and it's not serving its purpose, it's being grounded? Why? Can anybody explain for a brief moment, just 2 minutes? Can anybody try and explain? Asiedun Ketia is being criticized, and rightly so. Criticize him. He said he won't sign the peace pact. Play the video. We're wrapping up with that. Asiedun Ketia's video. He said he won't sign the peace pact until they get justice. Play the video. Let's see.
Yeah, Tuaba. Number 2 Mikro ni teacher ni Onyari Mokuno. Bezina abanye hohi.
Is on 90.
Nancy Mikro say class say about to ayeba betolo. Emu bejo mesa isa akrata no. Emu ti abai pesa mesa isa akrata no a. Okori re nipa oku sa branche. Ni anfano family kwaiso na so ma hu say krata bi wo ha me say no masai we dia so bi kura na yakunu a tabaka say e bi a family ho we dia me die hu wa ba me ku mi nipa o si yesa kwa ba bi me say krata That's how they can become one sign. No, yeah.
So that is Johnson Asedun Ketia. But you see, what he's saying now is not new. What he's saying now has been said before as we prepare to whether we want to go and sign the peace pact or not. And Apostle Abraham Lamte have said that if we all understand what peace is, why do we need to go and sign a peace pact? He asked that question. Play Mr. Samuel Oku's video for me.
Which comes on the 1st of December. There are many calls of people whose names, whether deliberately or not, have been omitted across the 10 regions. And it's beginning to up the tension in the system. The Christian Council of Ghana should not sit down and only be interested in people signing peace accord when those held and gifted with the responsibility to ensure a free, fair, transparent elections are derelict on their duties. Peace accords on paper on itself cannot provide us with a transparent election. What is sad for us in the MPP youth wing is what has been lost in the narrative. There's this whole peace industry in Ghana. Peace industry. But nobody is talking about the fairness, the transparency. It's not enough for the electoral commissioner to go to church and say she's praying, God gives us a leader. When some of the posture and utterances of the EC seems to suggest that they have a favorite in the election. When the electoral commissioner can say that when the elections is becoming too close, I'll call for recount. My goodness. You are a referee, you are not a player. And sometimes the electoral commission behaves like a team protesting against an unqualified player. When you are supposed to be the referee in the game. It's when I'm contesting my brother here and I am aggrieved with the result, and I'll call for a recount. These things cannot pass without the Peace Council, the Christian Council, our Muslim Council and Mission to not commenting on it. Elections is not an event, it's a process. From the process 1 to the process 2 to the process 3 to the process 4, all of it must engender confidence.
So that was Mr. Samuel Oku, who's then youth organizer of the MPP. You heard Justice Asedun Ketia. I think there's something in the black and white smoke. When you wear it, you start saying certain things that you have to say. You know? So I've given you two perspectives. You be the judge. What is being said now, what was said then, and the people who are now attacking who said something now, what they supported back in the day. But I'll wrap up with this final video. President J. Kufuor is very respected. I remember that when he had just left office, a journalist went to me and asked him a question about how much time was enough for a government to be able to deliver the public good. And he says, 4 years is not enough. But if a government is left to have 8 years, they will have no excuse not to have given the solutions. The man that he supports now, that he said we should all vote for Dr. Bawumia, who is proposing bold solutions, has had 8 years. And he spoke about a regime. He didn't talk about the president or vice president. He spoke about the regime. A regime encapsulates president, vice, and all the appointees of the government. That's a regime, right? So you can say that John Mahama was vice president to President Mills. And then when President Mills suddenly died after the 3.5, maybe 4 years, he also became president with the late Emisa Arthur. So that 8 years, those 8 years, it was a regime. And then Nanado with Dr. Bawumia as vice president have also had 8 years as a regime. Listen to him now. And I'm just trying to let you know what was said then and what is being said now. That's all. When this video finishes, you can call me on 055-924-2717 and 055-691-0154. Play the video, please.
That as just political talk. 8 years should be long enough for anybody with solutions to show. The current regime has been in power 8 years almost. So if we are not having the solutions, we shouldn't accept shifting of blame onto earlier regimes.
President Kufuor